Afternoon, it's a doubleheader with the Mets taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Pitching for the Pirates, it's Bob Walk, 2-2 with a 2.95 ERA. He'll be opposed in the first game by the Mets left-hander Bob Ojeda, who is 7-2 with an ERA of 2.53.
Well, hi, everybody. I'm Ralph Kiner, along with Rusty Staub, also Tim McCarver and Steve Zabriskie, all set for the Mets' second doubleheader of the year. They have played one previous doubleheader. It was against the Pittsburgh Pirates, and they split the doubleheader in Pittsburgh. The Mets with a record of 41-16, their best start ever. And to put it all in perspective, back in 1962, the Mets won only 40 games all season long. So already the Mets are ahead of that record in their first year of play. And the Pittsburgh Pirates struggling right now. They have lost the first two games of this series, and they have lost 9 out of 10 to the Mets, and they have been fooling around with their lineup, Rusty.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Ralph. I think Jim Leyland has decided to try to put the best pitching matchups against the Mets today. He switched Walk from the second game to the first game, put Nipper and Kipper into the second game. I think he really has in his mind that he wants to win a game here today. The Mets have been rolling along so well. It's amazing, as we keep saying, that no matter what Davey seems to do out there, it seems to work.
Well, since you're a single fellow, I'll have to say Happy Father's Day out there to everyone in the audience. But right now, let's go down to Steve Zabriskie.
Thanks, Ralph, and happy Father's Day to you all. For those of us who have to work most Father's Day, I'd just like to personally say Happy Father's Day to my father and my grandfather, who has not been feeling too well. And before the game today, we gave some of the Mets and one of the Pirates an opportunity to send you Happy Father's Day wishes.
I'm Tim Tuffle, wishing all the fathers out there a happy Father's Day.
I'm Ed Hearn. I'd like to wish my father and coach a very happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Ron Darling. I want to say, Dad, I hope you're feeling better on Father's Day, and I wish I could be there with you. And to all the other fathers of the Mets, the happiest Father's Day to all of you.
Hi, I'm Wally Backman of the New York Mets, and I'd like to wish all you wonderful fathers a very happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Mookie Wilson. I'd like to wish all you fathers out there happy Father's Day.
Hi, I'm Lee Mazzelli with the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Father's Day. And my pop is at the game, so happy Father's Day, Dad. Thank you.
Hi, I'm George Foster. I want to tell all the fathers of the world, when you're in a crowd, stand proud that you're a father. And I also want to wish the potential fathers or the future fathers happy Father's Day. And God bless.
Well, wherever you may be, we hope that your Father's Day is a very joyous one and you have an opportunity to spend time with your family and also spend time with us. A doubleheader coming up right here next on WOR, right after this word for Busch Beer.
First game of this doubleheader, Keith Hernandez at first base. Playing second base, Wally Backman. The shortstop, Rafael Santana. At third base, Ray Knight. In left field, Danny Heap. In center field, Len Dykstra. And in right field, Darryl Strawberry. The catcher, Gary Carter. And on the mound, Bob Ojeda. Ojeda, 28 years of age, has a record of 7-2, an earned run average of 2.53. He has walked 23, struck out 48, given up 69 hits in 78 innings of work. And lifetime, he is 2-0 against Pittsburgh.
And leading off for the Pirates, we have center fielder Barry Bonds. Hitting second at second base, Rafael Belliard. In right field, hitting third, Mike Brown. Jim Morrison at third base, hitting cleanup. Hitting fifth at first base, Mike Diaz. Catching and hitting sixth is Tony Pena. In left field, batting seventh is Bill Allman. Shortstop, Sammy Khalifa, batting eighth. And pitching and hitting ninth, Bob Walk.
So Bob Ojeda with a lifetime record of 51-41, his first year in the National League. Last year, 9-11 for the Boston Red Sox. And coming in with a fine earned run average of 2.53. The umpires for this game, Billy Williams behind home plate, Gary Darling, the umpire at first base, Joe West at second base, and Steve Ripley, the umpire at third. And the leadoff batter, Barry Bonds. Bonds hitting .288 for the year, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs.
And against the Mets, Ralph, he's had 5 hits and 22 at-bats, has hit 1 home run, and driven in 2 runs.
Fine on-base percentage of .432. He gets a lot of walks, in fact, also hit by a pitch ball in yesterday's ball game. And the 1-0 pitch, a fastball again, and foul back, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I was talking with Sid Thrift before the game, and Barry Bonds' father, Bobby Bonds, has a whole program with a sledgehammer that he goes through every day to create his hand, wrist, and arm strength to try to make him become just a better hitter and a stronger hitter and to be quick.
And the breaking ball, it's hit in the air to center field. Dykstra there. And then shading from the sun, making the play. Well, Rusty, the sun field here changes throughout the ball game, and it will with this doubleheader. It's always tough in the daytime in this park.
Yes, it is. The wind isn't gusting a tremendous amount today, which helps a little bit if it stays that way. But as the day progresses, right field, which I knew well here, gets to be one of the toughest sun fields in all of baseball. As the sun starts setting over the back of the Shea Stadium, right field becomes a real problem. But it's going to be a problem all day long for all the outfielders. They're going to have to be alert or they're going to get in trouble.
And here is Rafael Belliard hitting .241, no home runs, 12 RBIs. He takes a fastball for a strike.
And Belliard is hitting .333 against the Mets. He has 5 hits and 15 at-bats. He has not driven any runs or hit any home runs yet.
And Ojeda throws a pitch. It's bunted and bunted foul. So Belliard back to home plate. Brought a 5-game hitting streak into this game. 8 for 16, batting .500 over his last 5 games. Toughest sun field I ever played was the second game of a doubleheader in the Polo Grounds. And of course, Yankee Stadium in left field is very tough.
Yes.
And the earned run average right here of Bob Ojeda. It is 4th in the league. Gooden leads at 2.21. Then Nepper at 2.26. Tudor at 2.51. And Bob Ojeda at 2.53. 2 strikes to count on Rafael Belliard. As we get underway here at Shea Stadium. Banner day in between games of the doubleheader. And off the hands, bloop to right, and the hitting streak goes to 6 consecutive ball games. So Belliard continues doing well against the Mets. His 4th hit and 7 at-bats. That'll bring up Mike Brown.
When you're going good, Ralph, it just seems like everything falls in, doesn't it?
He got one of those in yesterday's ball game. Little bleeder in the right center field. Brown hitting .250, 3 home runs, 23 RBIs.
And Brown has struggled against the Mets. He only has 2 hits and 17 at-bats. He has hit a home run and driven in 3 runs.
Brown with an off year this year as compared to last year. He batted .304 for the Angels and the Pirates last season. And he takes a breaking ball for ball 1. Pirates have scored only 12 runs in the first inning in their 57 games.
And Mike Brown has struggled against left-handers, Ralph. He's only hitting .217 in his appearances against left-handed pitching.
Runner at first base, 1 man out, and a fastball strike. Brown coming to the Pirates in the Candelaria trade, and he had a fine year for Pittsburgh last year. Being platooned now by Jim Leyland, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, a new manager.
And I think that's hurting him, Ralph. I really do.
1-1 pitch, hit down the third, caught in the air, and it'll be a double play.
Something happened on this play.
Oh, he called a balk. A balk call against Ojeda. So the umpires have gotten into this contest in a hurry. A balk call by Joe West said he did not stop as he came to the plate. Oh, it's going to be one of those days, I guess.
Well, you know, the umpires have certain rules. I guess they get pressure put on them by certain people. That's one of the making the pitcher stop for a 1-second stop is one of the most difficult things. You can go all day long and they won't call this, and then all of a sudden they'll call it. But he definitely did not stop. There is no doubt about it.
Yeah, if they're consistent and they call it all the time, that's something else again. But when they call it one time and don't call it the next, that's something else. That's what you don't want to see. So he did not stop. It is a balk. So the Mets, instead of being out of the inning, see the Pirates with a runner in scoring position and another chance for Mike Brown. Incidentally, if Brown had had a hit, a base hit or a home run or whatever in that play, they had the option of taking whatever's better for the team. That's the way the balk goes. And this pitch is a ball, and the count at 2 balls and 1 strike. Naturally, since it was a double play, they took what was better.
Well, Belliard was already on his way to second base. I don't know if he would have been caught on a double play on that ball.
And a play going to third base now as Belliard makes a bad base running mistake, tries to get out of it, and is out as he runs out of the baseline. And Belliard making a very bad base running mistake, trying to cross over, and the ball hit right at the shortstop.
That's a second-grade second semester play, Ralph. It's gone over thousands of times in spring trainings. Ojeda throws a good sinker away. Mike Brown hits it on the ground. Santana has him easy. That's just not concentrating right there.
So now 2 men away. They lose the base runner in scoring position. Have one now at first base, and the batter is Jim Morrison. Morrison batting at .232 for the year, tied for the club lead in home runs with 9. He has 33 RBIs, one behind the leader, Johnny Ray.
And he has really struggled against the Mets, Ralph. He's only had 3 hits and 31 at-bats. He has hit one of his home runs against the Mets and driven in 3 runs, but he has definitely struggled against this ball club.
1 ball, no strikes, and the fastball foul off, so it's 1-1. Jim Morrison, 0 for 6 in the previous 2 games. Batting in that cleanup spot for only the 3rd time. And the 1-1 delivery hit foul back into the stands right off the end of the bat.
And as we said about Mike Brown, Jim Morrison also has struggled against left-handed pitching. He's only hitting .200 against left-handed pitching. So, you know, it's one of the things that the Pirates have struggled with all year long.
Jim Leyland appears to be a two-platoon type manager. He likes to switch his batters in and out. And this ball popped up in the shallow center. Will drop, I believe, and it does. Strawberry over to get to it. It falls in. And again, you see the deep center field play by Dykstra. And now he's coming in to get some sunglasses. He must have lost that ball in the sun.
He definitely didn't get a good jump on this ball. Ojeda actually beats Morrison on this play. He just lofts a fly ball. Lenny just did not see that ball. That's a shame. On a day like today, you just have to go out there with your glasses on. I know in every day game, he just, you know, he doesn't have them yet. I guess he doesn't feel like the sun is going to bother him.
Well, he certainly didn't get that one, and it puts runners at first and third, and with 2 men out, the batter will be Mike Diaz, hitting .229. 1 home run, a big one against the Mets.
Yes, he hit that 3-run home run off Sid Fernandez against the Mets. He is 2 for 7. He drove in 3 runs with that home run and has 4 RBIs in total against the Mets so far this season.
He has batted 1 time in this series, and in that 1 time he walked. So officially he is 0 for 0. 1 strike the count. Ojeda goes to the change of pace, and it's a bad swing, fooled completely, and it's strike 2. Ojeda throws what appears to look like a screwball. He says it's not a screwball, it's just a change of pace, but it sure acts
just
like
moves
one.
like one, right?
That's right.
Now Diaz is the atypical platoon type hitter so far this year. He's had 1 hit and 11 at-bats against right-handers, and against left-handers he's hitting .292.
That one in the dirt. Good play on it by Carter.
But I would think that Bob Ojeda's style of pitching is going to be tough for this young man.
He's really a free swinger. In fact, he's a fine hitter. He's hit well in the minor leagues. The big problem is he hasn't got a position to play.
That's it. You know, they say his strongest position, he came up as a catcher in the organization. Last year he was hitting around .360 when they told him to start playing the outfield. He had a lot of trouble adjusting mentally to that. His average dropped down to about .316 as the season ended, but he was very, very strong in spring training, and that's why I made this ball club.
And again, that screwball, and that's it. So Ojeda, without the help of the umpires in this situation, picks up a scoreless inning, giving up 2 blue pits and leaving 2 in the score after 1/2 inning. Pittsburgh nothing. The Mets coming up. Now here's a word from the good old guys.
We have Len Dicer in center field, hitting second. Wally Backman at second base. Keith Hernandez hitting third at first. Darryl Strawberry in the cleanup spot in right field. Gary Carter catching and hitting 5th. Danny Heap in left field, batting 6th. Ray Knight at third, hitting 7th. 8th at shortstop, Rafael Santana, and pitching Bob Ojeda.
Ojeda with Bob Walk, yeah. Walk with a record of 2-2, an earned run average of 2.95. 21 walks, 27 strikeouts, 30 hits in 43 innings pitched, all pitched in relief. And for the Pirates, the defense, Diaz, Belliard, Khalifa, and Morrison, first to third. Allman, Bonds, and Brown, left to right. And the catcher, Tony Pena, and Dykstra taking the first pitch. 1 strike the count. Lenny hitting .307, 1 home run, 10 runs batted in. And in his last 15 games, he is hitting .409. Dykstra 1 for 5 in this series. Again, he moves into bunting position.
Ralph, against Pittsburgh this year, Lenny's had 4 hits and 15 at-bats and has driven in 1 run. But he has been a pesky little gnat in their side a lot of times this year.
And there's another base hit for Dykstra, as you saw the stat on the Mets in the first inning. So Dykstra leads off with a base hit, and he continues to impress with his bat.
Just stays with it. A sinker breaking out over the plate. That's like a clinic swing right there.
So Dykstra, a very successful base stealer. He has 15 out of 16 on first base with Wally Backman, the batter. Wally hitting .318, no home runs, 9 RBIs. Backman has a mini streak going. He's in his last 4 ball games, batting .333, and Dykstra draws a throw at first. Tough to steal against the Pirates. Pirate catchers have averaged throwing out attempting base stealers, 46% of the time. Pena, an outstanding thrower.
One of the big reasons for Bob Walk's success, Ralph, is his delivery to the plate. You know, they do this thing, fans, where they time how quick it is for you to get the ball to the plate. Walk is one of the quickest in the big leagues. He averages between 1.21 seconds and 1.26 seconds delivering the ball to the plate. So he is one of the quickest. So it helps him a lot.
And again, he throws over to first base. Bob Walk, known as Whirly Bird. A couple of times he went to the plate without a bat. One time he went to the mound without a glove.
Timmy told me one time he went to the plate with a lead bat.
And a throw to first base. Got off to a great start in the major leagues. He won his first 6 major league decisions pitching for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he pitched in the World Series in the opening game and was a winning pitcher over Kansas City 7-6. Since then, things have not gone that well. And the breaking ball in there. Throws a good curveball. 1 strike the count to Wally Backman.
Well, they're going to watch the Mets closely at first base. The Mets have stolen 19 of the last 21 attempts. And I think Davey has been about as aggressive as you can be whenever he can be.
That's without the benefit of the 2 stolen bases yesterday that weren't scored as stolen bases.
True.
And a bunt out to the mound in the air, and that'll be an easy double play unless they call a balk. In the first inning, the Pirates hit into a double play, but the umpire, Joe West, called a balk on the pitcher that didn't count.
Wally just trying to get something started here. Gets the ball up in the air. It's an easy out. Dykstra was leaning hard, has no chance there.
So 2 men away, no one on, and Keith Hernandez the batter. Keith hitting .318 with 4 home runs, 28 RBIs.
Ralph, he's had 6 hits and 29 at-bats against the Pirates this year. He has hit a home run, hit a 2-run home run the other night, and has had 8 RBIs against the Pirates so far this year.
Got all of that one, hit it over the 396 mark, and that pitch for ball 1. Keith has the second base on-base average in the National League, .411. He's been either first, second, or third all season long. The leader now is Tim Raines at .416. And the fastball, a strike call. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little disdain right there. Billy Williams, a home plate umpire.
That expression says it all, doesn't it?
It sure does. And the count now, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Bob Walk's strength is the sinker. Down and away to left-handers. Down, period, to right-handers. Mixing in the breaking balls. When he gets in trouble, he's going to go to that sinker down and away most of the time.
And there it was. 3-1 the count. Keith has 32 walks. The leader in the National League is Bob Brenly of San Francisco with 38. And ball 4. So Keith gets his 33rd walk, and the Mets again have a base runner. And the batter coming up will be Darryl Strawberry, and he has been red hot. Strawberry hitting .459 in his last 11 ball games, 17 hits. And Darryl hitting .283 now with 7 home runs and 32 RBIs. He leads the major leagues in game-winning RBIs with 9.
and has done extremely well against Pittsburgh, Ralph. He's 11 for 28 with 2 home runs and 5 RBIs.
And the first pitch of fastball, strike one. Darrell got his first home run in the major leagues against Pittsburgh, and the pitcher was Lee Tunnell. So Darrell saw the light right away with Pittsburgh Pirates, huh?
Yes, he did.
And the off-speed pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Rookie of the year. Three for 8 in this series. And another one out of the strike zone. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Walker's pitched extremely well this year. The opponents hitting against him on every club are only hitting .201, and for a guy who's come in so many games as he has so far, that's really fine pitching.
And this one drilled in the corner, might score a run. Depends how it's played. Brown there playing it off the wall, and being waved in as Hernandez. He will be out if the throw is any good, and he is out. So Bud Harrelson gambling with 2 men out, hoping to get Hernandez across, and Hernandez thrown out.
Well, Davey likes Buddy to be aggressive, and he certainly was on this play. Darrell hits an off-speed pitch as good as you can hit it down the line. The ricochet off the fence doesn't come right to him, but he does have a good arm. He makes a good throw to the cutoff man, and Rafael Belliard makes a good throw to the plate. And Keith Hernandez is out. Here's another angle of the throw coming in. And he's got the ball in plenty time.
So no runs, 2 hits, and 1 left, and the score at the end of 1. The Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Ivory. You look at the ball game through rose-colored glasses. No score. We're in the top of the 2nd, and Bob Ojeda pitching to Tony Pena. And the first pitch, a called strike. Pena batting 6th in the batting order and hitting a .243 for the year with 3 home runs, 20 RBIs, and that one in there for called strike 2.
Tony has struggled against the Mets. He's had 6 hits and 31 at-bats with no home runs and only 3 RBIs.
Very aggressive hitter. And the curveball down in the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pena 1 for 7 in this series.
Jim Leyland and the coaching staff have been talking a lot to Tony Pena about cutting down on his swing. I don't know how successful they've been with it.
One of the things they're trying to do is get him on base. He seldom walks, although this year he has walked more than he ever has. And this ball rounded to Ray Knight to throw to first base for the out. Pena has had 23 walks this year, which is very high for him. So on a hot sunny day, anything will do for a parasol.
You think he took the hot dogs out?
I hope so. Maybe the mustard's still in there. That brings up Bill Allman. Allman has yet to have a hit against the Mets.
0 for 14, Ralph.
Overall, he's hitting .250 for the year, 6 home runs, 19 RBIs, and the big breaking ball. 1 strike to count to a man who has played almost every position.
He started 12 games this year in left field. This will be his 13th start out there. He's had 8 games he started at third base. And when I knew him, he was a shortstop.
Signed out of Brown University as the #1 draft choice to the San Diego Padres. Played briefly for the Mets, then moved on to the White Sox. And they count 1-2.
He struggled early in his career trying to get into the National League. When he went to the American League, it gave him new life. He had a very fine year in his first season.
Blossomed out with the White Sox. 1981, he hit .301. Played in 103 games, his best year. And that makes it 2 balls and 2 strikes. Last year he hit .270 for Pittsburgh in 86 games, had 6 home runs. He's already had 6 home runs this year. And he goes after the fastball, fouls it off. Allman has played for the Padres, the Montreal Expos, the New York Mets, the White Sox, Oakland, and now Pittsburgh.
And he's another guy in our lineup, Ralph, who has struggled against left-handed pitching. He's only hitting .204 against left-handers.
Pirates have not done well against left-hand pitching.
Not at all. They are 5-13 going into this game against left-handed pitching. Ray Knight makes a nice play to first.
So 2 out on 2 assists by Ray Knight at third. Ray has made only 2 errors at third. They have been in the last few games. And the batter now will be Sam Khalifa. Khalifa hitting 189 for the year, no home runs, 4 RBIs, and he's not hitting well against the Mets either.
He's only had 3 hits, Ralph, and 19 at-bats. He's had no RBIs, no home runs.
Pirates have not done well against the Mets. They've won only 1 out of 10. But then again, nobody else has done well against the Mets.
Yes, last year the Pirates were the thorn in the Mets side. Mets only went 10-8 against the Pirates last year, if I'm not mistaken.
10-8, and they won a couple of real big games the last week of the season against the Mets.
Hurt the Mets a lot.
1-1 the count. And right back through the wickets, as they say, through the originator, and a base hit.
Bob Ojeda, who does end up in good fielding position in most circumstances. That ball just went right between his legs. And on Father's Day.
You get a smile out of Ojeda there. Speaking of Father's Day, a memorial event took place on Father's Day in this stadium in 1964. The only perfect game ever pitched at Shea Stadium. Jim Bunning. Perfect game against the Mets in 1964 on Father's Day. Great story about that. I was interviewing Bunning on the field, and a beautiful lady came out of the stands, threw her arm around Bunning, kissed him. Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson were upstairs. There's a foul ball. And Bob said to Lindsey, "Is that his wife?" And Lindsey says, "I certainly hope so." And it was.
Well, Bob Walk is actually a pretty good hitter. Not that he's a great hitter, but this year he's had 3 hits and 8 at-bats. Had a couple of doubles and a couple of RBIs.
And that one is beautifully broken into the strike zone. Bunning, the perfect man for Father's Day. I think he had 8 children, didn't he?
He had a bundle. One hand was not enough to count them.
That's right. Did he swing? And yes, he did, as Gary Darling said he won a round, and that'll do it. 1 hit, 1 left, and the score at the end of 1.5. It's the Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Busch Beer.
Movie. Peter O'Toole and Omar Sharif star in a compelling World War II drama about Nazi occupation. Night of the Generals, Monday night at 9 o'clock.
And right here in the daytime, we go to the bottom of the second, a scoreless ball game, and Gary Carter the lead off. Carter hitting .243, 10 home runs, 40 RBIs, and he takes a fastball. You know, talking about Jim Bunning pitching that no-hitter on Father's Day, we had a tough time to get him to go on TV. He wanted to get paid. And when I explained that the interview was also going to Philadelphia, he did go on. And we got the interview. And that night, it was a Sunday, of course, on Father's Day, he went on the Ed Sullivan Show and received the great sum of $1,000.
That was big money in that time, though, Ralph.
1964. We learned from, I guess Tim McCarver told me this, that Steve Carlton turned down $25,000 to do an interview with Barbara Walters. He wanted to keep his silence. So
he's been true to that for a long time.
Things have changed. He certainly didn't change his character even for $25,000. I wonder if he'd do it for 50.
I don't think you're going to get him to do it, period.
1-2, and Carter pops it up in foul territory. Mike Diaz over there to give it a look, and that's it.
Gary's had 6 hits and 25 at-bats against the Pirates. Has a home run, driven in 7 runs.
Carter in this series 1 for 3. And yes, it is a warm afternoon out here. The weatherman lied to us. He said there was going to be no humidity. Where's Charlie Finley in the ballpark?
This guy took the hard route in.
That's our new transportation. 1-2.
Arthur Richmond stays home a few days and we get in real trouble, right?
Boy, I'll say. Mules for all of us. 2-2. And now the count 3-2. So Carter leading off in the second with a full count as Bob Walk works his second inning. The on-deck batter, Danny Heap. Went after a bad pitch, but did foul it, so he'll get another chance.
Gary's been more and more patient lately. That's why he has been swinging the bat better. I think he's had a couple of good pitches to hit, but he has stayed back better. That time he went out and really moved out of his slot, as they call it. Reach for the ball. The only way you could have hit that ball really well is to go to right field, and he was trying to pull that pitch, is what I'm getting at.
Right. And that one ripped right into the glove of Jim Morrison. Extremely well hit, but you can't guide him.
You see his weight is back. He just gets everything into that.
That's one of the paradoxes of hitting.
Yes.
They say get out in front, but you got to keep your weight back.
And he certainly did there. Morrison saying to himself right now, I'm glad that ball wasn't hit directly at me.
On Father's Day, too. Now the batter's Danny Heap, and it is ball one. Danny hitting .295, 3 home runs, 17 runs batted in.
Danny against the Pirates has 3 hits and 8 at-bats, driven in a couple of runs. And he's made 19 starts this year, Ralph. He's hit safely in 14 of them with a .318 average. He's hit 3 home runs and 15 RBIs in his starts.
And this time Khalifa throws him out, so 2 men away. He's done a good job as a replacement for George Foster, and also pinch hitting. Fine job this year.
Darryl Strawberry's had some woes this year. He's filled inadequately at right also. People like Danny are a great plus to a ball club.
And here's a man who's been a plus to this ball club this year, hitting .333. That's 3rd in the National League. Was leading the league in hitting yesterday, but he was hitless in the game yesterday to stop 11-game hitting streak. So Ray Knight will have to start another one. He's had 2 11-game hitting streaks, and Keith Hernandez has had 2 11-game hitting streaks, the longest on the club this year. Good curveball. Leads the National League.
That's
the Mets do. 367 team average. Giants second at 257. And the Cardinals are last at 226. They led the National League in hitting last year and in runs scored. The Mets also lead in runs scored. They have scored 285 runs.
Ray Knight has done extremely well against the Pirates. He's had 11 hits and 31 at-bats. Hit 2 home runs against the Pirates and driven in 5 runs.
Ray 3rd in the National League batting race. Ahead of him, Tony Gwynn at .339 and Hubie Brooks at .339.
Ray's also 3rd in the league in slugging percentage.
.526.
And has hit safely in 34 out of the last 39 games he's played in.
And they go to the breaking ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hubie Brooks, the slugging percentage leader at .640. Then Andre Dawson at .585. And then Ray Knight at .526. They got so many stats now, you have to have a computer to keep up with them. And that's exactly why they got so many stats. They got computers.
That's it. But we try to keep you fans informed as best we can on all the statistics we can come up for you.
I remember when they first started to put batting averages on the scoreboard, and the players hated that. You were playing then, weren't you?
Well, you didn't hate it if you were hitting 3
No,
plus. If you were down in the 200s, you didn't like it at all.
Now there was a revolt.
I understand the Cardinals have stopped putting their batting averages up on their scoreboard because their team has done so poorly this year.
And there's strike 3. So Walk gets his first strikeout as he sneaks a fastball by Ray Knight, who didn't like the call by Billy Williams. So a 1-2-3 inning for Bob Walk, and the score at the end of 2. The Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Purolator Courier. Score in the ball game. A big crowd here on Hand at Shea Stadium, and for the Pittsburgh Pirates will be the top of the batting order. Barry Bonds, the leadoff. Barry flied out to center field his first time up. And the breaking ball for ball 1. Bob Ojeda working to Barry Bonds, followed by Rafael Belliard. Barry, the son of Bobby Bonds, and an outstanding prospect. It's a good curveball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And Ralph, Bo Jackson got an offer from Kansas City, trying to make a decision on whether he's going to play baseball or football. Said the Kansas City offer was unique.
That's because he's an amateur athlete. Not used to all that money being offered, huh?
Well, I'm sure they have to do something to try to talk him out of playing football. Says he's going to wait for Tampa Bay to make their offer before he makes his decision.
This ball topped out to the first base side. Hernandez with a tough play, and he throws it perfectly, but Ojeda falls down. Now Bonds makes a turn towards second, so he's in play, but he gets back to the bag.
Well, I think they're going to call it a base hit, but that was a really excellent try by Keith Hernandez. If Bob Ojeda doesn't fall down, I think they may get him. Hernandez coming in. Very, very tough play for the first baseman, but flips it back. I don't know exactly what happened. We didn't see at the bag here. We may catch it here. Oh, he just slipped coming, trying to stop. He didn't hit the bag. He just slipped down on the mud part of the infield.
So that will be scored as a base hit. Hit number 4 off Ojeda, and now a very fast man on at first base with Rafael Belliard coming up. Belliard extending his hitting streak to 6 consecutive ball games with a base hit his first time up.
Bonds so far has attempted 7 steals, been thrown out 3 times, has stolen 4 bases.
Has a pretty good sized lead, and he draws a throw. Pirates have been successful in their stolen base attempts only 55% of the time, but they have tried 81. Again, a throw over there. And the Mets have done very poorly against the runners. They have thrown out only 17% of the runners attempting the steal. And the strike call.
It's one of the few areas the Mets have not excelled in this year.
They've thrown out only 13 of 75 attempts. Swing and throw to first base, and Bonds is back. Bobby Bonds, his father, came the closest to being a 40-40 man.
It was just a high fastball. Could not check his swing. Bonds not really too far out.
And you ask, what is a 40-40 man? That's a man who hits 40 home runs and has 40 stolen bases. No one has ever done that, but Bobby Bonds missed on the home run side. He had over 40 stolen bases and 39 home runs. I would think, Rusty, the closest to that right now might be Darryl Strawberry.
I was just thinking the exact same thing, Ralph. I really think that Darryl is probably the one guy in baseball right now that might be able to accomplish that feat.
There have been a lot of 30-30s, but no 40-40 men. 40 stolen bases or more, 40 home runs or more.
There's a banner. Today being banner day between first and second games of this doubleheader for about an hour and a half, however long it takes.
2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours.
We should make them sprint through, right?
It all started back in 1963 at the Polo Grounds, the first banner day ever held in Major League Baseball in a Major League Baseball stadium.
It's a big day for Met fans. They've come out here in droves today. It's like almost a full house again.
2 strikes to count on Belliard. No one out. Top of the third, and another ground ball hit down the night. A great diving stop. Can he get his man at second? He does. Ray Knight throwing from the ground on his knees makes the play.
Well, he's been doing an outstanding job all year long. He just dives, catches his ball, makes a nice quick release, and gets a fast runner going to second base. That's not a time play. That's just a full extension almost.
So they pick up the force play on the lead runner. That leaves Belliard at first base and brings up Mike Brown. Mike Brown hit into a fielder's choice his first time up, and this one popped in a shallow right, going back his back, but he can't get it. Strawberry dives for it, doesn't get it, and it goes for a base hit. So that's 3 of those little bloop hits into the outfield in this game already.
Straw was not real aggressive on this ball. I think there was a tentativeness whether he felt Wally Backman was going to come out and catch this ball, and now you see him stop all of a sudden. we've had some collisions out there, and I think the outfield is getting very tentative. There's no doubt that he picked up Wally Backman right there, and it caused him to slow down. I think if he would have kept coming all the way, he would have had a chance to catch that ball.
So Strawberry gets it on the short hop and runners at first and second with one out, and that brings up Jim Morrison, who got a bloop base hit his first time up out in shallow left center field. Morrison with only 3 hits against the Mets this year and 32 at bats. One of them, though, a home run. First pitch, a called strike.
Things like that, as far as running into other outfielders and infielders and outfielders colliding, seem to come in rashes, Ralph. I don't know why.
Glenn Dykstra has run into just about everybody but the catcher on this ball club. And the runner's going with the pitch. It's popped up out into shallow right field. Hernandez back, and he makes the catch, and they could have all they want, but they get the double play, and that ends the inning.
Keith Hernandez, his Gold Gloves are well earned. This is another reason showing it. Catches that ball. He's got all day to throw now, because Rafael Belliard was almost at home plate by the time Keith Hernandez turned around.
So a double play, no runs on 2 hits and 1 left in the score at the end of 2.5 innings. The Pirates nothing, the Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Exxon Gas. Sunday afternoon, June 22nd, as they take on Ryan Sandberg and the Chicago Cubs. All kids 14 and under will receive a Mets replica jersey courtesy of Conn's Meats. Due to the heavy demand of Sunday, June 22nd's game, Conn's Meats Kids Jersey Day tickets are still available, but only at Shea Stadium's advanced ticket window. For all other home games, tickets can be purchased at all Ticketon outlets at Shea Stadium's advanced ticket window, or call 718-507-TIXX for information. So come on out and see the Mets take on the Chicago Cubs. And remember, all kids 14 and under will receive a Mets jersey courtesy of Conn's Meats, absolutely free. Now we're going to the bottom of the 3rd. And for the Mets, it'll be Rafael Santana. Tim McCarver, have a nice day. Karen and Cindy. Just what he wants to hear. Have a nice eternity that lasts forever. And Rafael Santana hit him 160 with no home runs, 7 RBIs. Takes the first pitch. And now the sinking fastball.
Ralphie has struggled desperately almost against the Pittsburgh Pirates, Ralph. He's had 4 hits and 33 times at bat. He has driven in 3 runs against the Pirates, though.
And that one right on the corner, right on the black. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rafael 0 for 6 in this series against Pittsburgh. Mets have had 2 hits. Pirates have had 5. And now 3 and 1. Walk has not walked the batter since the first inning. There's one of those great stats.
Yes.
And it's hit in the air to center field. Bobby Bonds back. Puts the shades on it and the glove on it. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Bob Ojeda.
There's Bobby Bonds going after the ball. Almost slips down. Makes a nice recovery. Barry Bonds fan, sorry. Played too many years around his father, I think.
Father, an outstanding player and a really nice guy. Bob Ojeda, the batter. Bob has had 3 hits and 28 at bats, and he gets a curveball. Bob did not bat for 8 years due to the fact he played in the minor leagues and also in the American League. And when he started taking batting practice, he said it already started to foul up his golf swing. 1-1 the count. And again, the breaking ball, foul tip. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Played some first base in college. So he hit 8 years ago. Got a piece of it to stay alive.
He definitely has a tentative front foot there, Ralph. That front foot just wants to step out of that batter's box.
The heart is willing, but the body is weak. And that's against a right-hand pitcher.
Yes.
Struck him out with a curveball. Second strikeout for walk. 2 men away here in the third, and it brings up Len Dykstra. Dykstra has singled his first time up.
Walk showing good control today. He's walked 21 people in the 42 and 2/3 innings he pitched in prior to this game. He's not an easy pitcher for a catcher to catch.
That sinker ball. This is his first start of the season. And he gets Dykstra with a breaking ball. Coming into this ball game, Dykstra hitting .409 over his last 15 ball games. Had a big base hit in yesterday's 5-run inning. Mets winning yesterday 5-1. Won the first game 6-5, and they won that in the 9th inning. Large crowd. First doubleheader at Shea Stadium this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I think the Mets had 31 doubleheaders.
That's the sledgehammer right there, I believe, that we were talking about with Barry Bonds. That's Bill Verdon, the outfield coach.
And that's a strikeout. So that ends the inning. A 1-2-3 inning with 2 strikeouts. And the score at the end of 3, Pittsburgh nothing, the New York Mets nothing. Now here's a word from Nissan. Action this Tuesday night at 7:30 when the boys from Shea battle the Montreal Expos. Live from Olympic Stadium, only here on Channel 9. And coming in here live from Shea Stadium, only on Channel 9, Steve Zabriskie.
Thank you, Ralph. Semi-live, at least.
All right, you got to feel good in a day like this.
Even though the weatherman lied to us?
He lied to us.
Mike Diaz to lead it off for the Pirates in a scoreless ball game after 3. Inside from Bob Ojeda for ball 1. Diaz struck out swinging to end the first inning.
Diaz saw 2 of those change of paces that act like a screwball his first time up.
There it is. He denies, Bob Ojeda that is, denies that he turns that ball over, but I don't know how else you'd get it to move away from a right-handed hitter like that.
He lied to us again.
He and the weatherman are in cahoots. Ojeda's been touched for 5 base hits, none of which have been smoked. And a breaking ball down the line. Another good play by Ray Knight, and a 1-hop throw to first to get Diaz. Man, is Ray Knight sparkling at third base.
Well, he turns a base hit into an out here with a fine play, and I believe he throws the ball on the first hop on purpose. A trick that Concepcion came up with on the artificial turf, but this is the first time you might have seen it on grass. In the foul territory, that long throw and a perfect hop to Keith Hernandez. So Ray Knight playing sparkling bright daylight baseball.
On a sparkling day. Now that's a good play, because from that far away, if you try to get the ball all the way there, Hernandez would probably have to dig it out of the dirt. This way, it's an easy play for the first baseman. Here's Tony Pena, who grounded tonight his first time up. And he hits it up the middle for a base hit into center field. The 6th Pirate hit.
Left fielder, well, the Pirates got 2 hits in the first, 1 hit in the second, 2 more in the third, now have 1 here in the fourth.
Utility man extraordinaire Bill Ullman will be the batter. He too grounded to Ray Knight at third base back in the 2nd inning. Allman has played 5 different positions and may play 7 before the season is over. That's low and away for ball 1. 1 out. Pena the runner at first. And a strike on the outside corner. 1-1. Bob Ojeda, the kind of pitcher who rarely throws the ball over the fat part of the plate. He knows exactly what he wants to do and really what he has to do to succeed, because he does not have overpowering stuff. And he nibbles. And a shot to Backman. It could be 2 to Santana, and it is. The Mets turn their second double play of the ball game to end the 4th inning. 1 hit, but no one left, and we're still scoreless after 3 1/2. And we're back at Shea after this for Manufacturers Hanover.
It's all sports like nobody else, with double coverage from Steve and Al Albert on Channel 9, primetime, tomorrow night at 8. Steve and Al, catch him here on Channel 9.
Wally Backman to lead it off for the Mets in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Walter 0 for 1, tried to bunt in the 1st inning and popped it back to pitcher Bob Walk, who turned it into a double play. Wally's hitting 4 straight, hitting .333. Entered the game with a .318 average, but significantly better than that from the left side. He takes ball 1.
You know, we were talking, Steve, about the perfect game Jim Bunning pitched on June 21st, which was Father's Day in 1964. Ed Sudol was a home plate umpire.
1-1.
And after the game, I told Sudol, that was after I interviewed Jim Bunning, that it was a perfect game. And he says, "You mean I umpired a perfect game?" And I said, "No, Ed, you didn't." But it was a perfect game.
Pitched, not umpired. Into the hole and a base hit into right field. Backman is aboard to lead off the 4th inning for New York. Only the 3rd hit for the Mets.
And for the 2nd time, the Mets get their leadoff batter on as the second baseman. Valliard couldn't make the play, and it brings up Keith Hernandez. Keith walked his first time up.
And that walk meant that Keith has been on base in 51 of 56 games this year by either a hit or a walk. He is 2nd in the league in on-base percentage to Tim Raines of Montreal. Bunning, a good one to pitch on Father's Day, huh? He had half a dozen kids.
I think he had 8 kids.
8?
Yeah.
Only appropriate.
Some of the names of the players in that ball game: Jim Hickman, Ron Hunt, Ed Kranepool, Joe Christopher, Jesse Gonder, Bill Taylor, Charlie Smith, Juan Samuel, George Altman. Tracy Stollard was the losing pitcher.
There's a blast from the past. Well, Walk asked for time, and then Backman asked for time, so now we're ready to go again. Base hit, and it could be extra bases down the right field line. Backman hitting for 3rd as Brown comes up with the ball. Here comes the relay. Safe. Hernandez doubles in the 1st run of the game, and New York leads 1-0.
Well, this time Bud Harrelson gets his base runner home. The ball hit down that right field line. Mike Brown making the move over there to cut it off before it reaches the wall. Backman being waved in. The throw by the relay man, Khalifa, I should say by Valliard, is not in time, and the Mets score and lead 1-0. Perfect throw by Valliard, but just late. And trailing the play as the play came home, Keith Hernandez going to third. So the Mets have a run in, a runner at third with no one out.
And Darryl Strawberry, the batter. Inside, ball one. Strawberry doubled his first time up down the right field line, but Hernandez was thrown out at the plate trying to score on that base hit. Good base running by Keith Hernandez to go to third. Did Darryl hold up? No, says third base umpire Steve Ripley. And the count is now 1-1.
Right here, Darryl tries to hold up and does on the ball in the dirt.
But Ripley said no. And now it's 2 balls, 1 strike.
Pirates playing the infield in for a play at the plate this early in the ball game. Kind of unusual, especially with a power hitter up.
Darryl fouls it off his foot, and the count now 2-2. Belliard at second is only in about halfway, and that, of course, Darrell's pull side.
He must be a father.
He's must be intelligent.
Playing a Father's Day second base here. He didn't want to get in too close. Might get killed. Strawberry fouling that ball down. Good swing. Just on top of the ball. He fouls it off his foot.
Strawberry leading the major leagues with 9 game-winning RBIs. And he has been red hot of late, and he's going to take a little extra time here to try to shake the pain out of that foot. There you see the infield positioning. About halfway in, all the way around. And it's caught by the first baseman, Mike Diaz. Hernandez obviously has no chance to advance. So 1 away with Keith still at third. And the batter will be Gary Carter. Carter lined out to third baseman Jim Morrison to open the second inning.
Carter leads the club in runs batted in with 40. League leader in RBIs, Chili Davis with 44.
Ball 1. Gary also tied for the club lead with Darryl Strawberry with, or rather with George Foster, I should say, with 10 home runs apiece.
Marshall, the home run leader, with 15. Mike Marshall of the Dodgers.
A bouncer up the middle. Khalifa now has got Hernandez hung up between third and home. And he's tagged out, and on the play, Carter goes down to second base.
Not that bad a play. Keith trying to sneak in, hoping that Khalifa would throw to first. But Khalifa caught him out of the corner of his eye and held on to the ball. But Hernandez stays in. There you see him catching Hernandez. And he stays in that rundown long enough to allow Carter to go to second, so they still have a runner in scoring position with 2 men out. Right here you see Keith just trying to wait, and if the throw goes to first, he's going to break home, but Khalifa picked him up.
That was a good play. He was trying to cheat enough to have a chance to come home on the throw to first. But Carter at second with 2 out for Danny Heap, who takes the ball. Heap grounded to short in the second inning. Gary reaching on a fielder's choice at second base. Fly ball to right field. Mike Brown doesn't have to move very far, and the inning is over. But the Mets pick up 1 run on 2 hits. They leave a runner. And at the end of 4, they lead the Pirates 1-0 here at Shea in the first of a doubleheader. Now here's a word from Busch Beer.
That this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and WOR-TV, and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets and WOR-TV is prohibited.
Top of the 5th inning here at Shea, 1-0, New York leading. Earl Morrill from WOR in the WOR Diamond View Suite here at Shea. where the folks from WOR entertain clients and members of the staff. Sam Khalifa leads it off in the 5th inning for Pittsburgh. He singled to center his first time up, and he looks at strike one from Bob Ojeda. And a fly ball to right. Easy play for Strawberry. And one out.
In the National League, Cardinals just getting underway against the Cubs. Expos no score against the Phillies. Top of the 3rd inning. The Expos now 10 games back. Reds and Braves getting underway. Giants and Astros later, and the Dodgers and Padres later. Mets have a 10-game lead, the biggest lead they've ever had in their 25-year history.
Bob walked the batter, and the Pirate pitcher takes inside for ball one. He struck out to end the 2nd inning. Ball two. Walks hitting .333, 3 for 9. This is his first start, so he hasn't had a lot of at-bats this year as a relief pitcher. 2 balls, 1 strike.
You know, with the Mets having a record of 41-16, to put that in perspective, here it is, June 15th. In 1962, they won only 40 games all season. So the Mets have won 1 more game already this year than they won all season long in 1962.
And people have been writing and talking about the fact, I've heard it mentioned in 2 different areas, Ralph. I know it's far beyond the realm of possibility, but people talked about the fact that maybe this year's team would lose fewer games than that year's team won. That would be awesome, though, to win 120 games.
And today in baseball, Wade Boggs leading the major leagues at .379. That's, of course, the Boston Red Sox, Wade Boggs. Bruised ribs.
Bob walks. And it's the first one issued by Bob Ojeda.
Walks.
What else would he do? He's at first with 1 out for Barry Bonds, who is 1 for 2. Got an infield base hit in the 3rd after flying to center field in the 1st inning. And Barry has now been on base in 16 of his 17 games. Nice headgear. This one will stay in play. Ray Knight in foul territory. 2 away. I wonder if he gets Channel 9 on that. He's adjusting his antenna. That's his de-scrambler there on top, the cup. I guess they forgot their hats, huh? Rafael Belliard, 1 for 2.
A few other things.
Swing and a miss at 1 out of the strike zone. 0-1. Were they your passes or Tim's?
I think they're Tim's. Said a couple of his roommates were coming out.
And he's not here to defend himself. He'll be here in a couple innings, and we'll hear about it. Belliard going up the bat handle, looking as if he might be bunting. But it's a ball, 1-1. Bob walked the runner at first, 2 out, and a 1-0 New York lead in the top of the 5th inning. Belliard now has hit in 6 straight games. Beautiful breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
You know how ball players mainly from Texas wear cowboy boots?
Yes.
Well, that's how Wade Boggs hurt himself trying to take off his cowboy boots.
Before the game even began.
Yeah, actually it happened in Wednesday in his hotel room trying to get his cowboy boots off. He slipped and hit his ribs against the side of the bed.
That's going to be out of play, and the count's still 1-2. You know, it's amazing when you think back about key players for teams being injured during the season. A lot of guys have been injured off the field. You know, household accidents, cut their hands. Think about Jim Lonborg's skiing accident. And who was it for Philadelphia that had the bike accident? Riding a bike?
Christensen, wasn't it?
So Santana with a good play to end the inning here in the 5th. A walk and one left for the Pirates against Bob Ojeda, but Bob throwing goose eggs so far. It's 1-0 New York after 4.5. But now here's a word from the good old guys.
We're going now to the bottom of the 5th in the American League. The Yankees nothing. Orioles batting in the bottom of the 1st. Tigers 3. Blue Jays nothing. Bottom of the 3rd. 2-2. Brewers and Red Sox bottom of the 4th. Indians leading the Twins 1-0. Top of the 3rd. Royals and Angels later. Rangers and A's later. And the White Sox and Mariners later.
And right here, Ray Knight will lead it off. Bottom of the order in the bottom of the 5th against Bob Walk. Knight to be followed by Rafael Santana and Bob Ojeda as New York leads it 1-0. Ray was called out on strikes to end the 2nd inning, a call with which he disagreed, and he takes ball 1.
Talking about players getting hurt, the classic case was Kurt Simmons, the great left-hander for the Phillies at the time, who cut a toe off mowing the lawn at home.
Man. Sometimes it's safer to be here at the park and in the lineup. And a breaking ball in there, and it's 1-1.
Christensen fell off that bike for the Phillies, and that was in a charity raising event sponsored by Tug McGraw, riding a bicycle so many miles, and that was in California. There's been a lot of players hurt playing basketball. Mike Vail of the Mets injured himself one time playing basketball.
And Tim McCarver points out Bobby Tolan's Achilles heel injury, which was playing basketball and ended his career.
Boy, he could run.
Couldn't he, though? Knight hits it a ton to center field. Will it stay in the park? Yes, it will. Bonds just short of the warning track and one away.
Wonder how long Walk can pitch in this ball game. This is his first start of the year, and he's now working his 5th inning, the longest he has worked this year.
And he'll be facing Rafael Santana with 1 out and nobody on. Santana also flied to center, his first time up. And he looks at a breaking ball for strike 1. Santana took a lot of extra batting practice with hitting instructor Bill Robinson inside in the batting cage under the stands before the game today. And he did hit that ball very well his first time up.
Yeah, but that Iron Mike doesn't throw curveballs.
Well, I think it was Bill Robinson who was throwing. Swing and a miss. Foul tip, and it's 1-2.
Rafael seems to be weak. I mean, physically weak. He hasn't been able to get the bat around. He isn't a strong person to start with, and most of his hits have been sliding off to the right side. He's been behind everything.
You know, when he first was acquired a few years ago, Ralph, from St. Louis, he hit a lot more line drives than he does now, and I thought he was going to be a pretty good hitter and could hit in the high 200s. But in the last couple of years, you're right, he has been hitting everything the other way, and often meekly. He hit a line drive that time, but it takes a couple of hops, and Khalifa throws him out. So 2 out with nobody on.
Hit that slider on the end of the bat, so it took some of the speed out of it.
Bob Ojeda. And here's Bob Ojeda. Bob struck out back in the 3rd. For strike 1. Ojeda 3 for 29 as a hitter this year. And it's 0-2. The Mets got a run in the 4th inning, and that has been the only scoring in the game. 6 hits for the Pirates, 4 hits for New York. The breaking ball fouled off. Still 0-2.
In games when the Mets have had the first run of the ball game, they have won 29 and lost 8.
Oh, bullpen conversation. Greg Pavlik on the right side of your screen, one of the Mets bullpen coaches. And Ojeda fouls another one off. 0-2. A good try. Boy, another great crowd here. And that just missed. 1-2. Mets had about 47,000 paid for the doubleheader yesterday. Or single game yesterday.
Just seemed like a doubleheader.
Doubleheader's today, isn't it? That's right. Ojeda strikes out for the second time. Fourth strikeout for walk. And after 5, the score remains 1-0 New York. And we're back after this for Burger King. Well, there's the antenna man. And we're going to the top half of the 6th inning, and Mike Brown's leading it off for the Pirates. New York leads it 1-0. Brown is 1 for 2, as you see. He singled to right in the 3rd and then was erased on a double play. 1-1. A lot of things have been written in the Pittsburgh papers about Mike Brown not playing enough. And he has been Cecilio Guante. The game is over here, this way. He's watching the party out there, I guess. Santana. And another good play by Raffy. 1 away.
And coming this Friday night, a film festival premiere. Channel 9 presents the Cannes Film Festival with host Lorraine Newman spoofing the incredible going on of Terror of Tiny Town. Friday night at 11:30.
Terror of Tiny Town. Story of Gulliver and the Lilliputians, I guess.
That's a story of Eddie Goodell batting for the St. Louis Browns as a midget.
A line drive off the bat of Jim Morrison, and again Ray Knight makes the play. 2 away.
Oh, Morrison speared a line drive earlier in this ball game off of Carter, and now this one turned into an out as he hits it hard, and Knight turns him back.
So 2 out. And the batter Mike Diaz. Here's a comparison between the two pitchers after 5 innings of work.
71 pitches for Walk, 65 for Ojeda. Ojeda in the strike zone 6 more times than Walk. And Walk a lot more balls. Naturally, with a name like Walk, he'd throw a lot more balls.
But Walk has more strikeouts. But Ojeda leads in the game 1-0, and Mike Diaz hits it deep to left center, but Danny Heap has enough room to make the play on the warning track. And the side is retired in order in the 6th by Bob Ojeda, and he still leads the Pirates 1-0. Now here's a word from your Ford dealers. On the radio side, Gary Thorne, who does the broadcasts, along with Bob Murphy. Bob, of course. And there's Jim Rooker of the Pirates radio crew, who works with Lanny Fratteri.
Jim Rooker, a fine left-hand pitcher.
There's Lanny.
Also on their telecast, they used Steve Blass, who at one time was one of the great Pirate pitchers.
So lots of folks here today, in addition to the better than 40,000 on hand, and Len Dykstra to lead off the bottom of the 6th inning for the Mets. And a breaking ball low from Bob Walk. Ball 1. Lenny's 1 for 2. He singled to left center field back in the 1st inning, and he struck out in the 3rd. And he rips one down the line in fair territory. It'll be at least 2. Mike Brown digs it out. Dykstra's going to try for 3. And he's in there.
Oh, here it is. Dykstra with a bullet hit down into the right field corner. Brown going over there. Playing the ball perfectly. The relay to Belliard, now on to 3rd, but Dykstra just outruns everybody and comes up with his 4th triple of the year. A leadoff 3-base hit. Strong throw by Belliard, but not in time.
That ties Len for 4th in the league with triples. Vince Coleman of St. Louis, the leader in the National League, with 6.
That is the Mets' 5th hit in this ball game, and as we mentioned earlier, this is the first start for Bob Walk. So he's getting close to his exit point They're probably going to leave him in at this point as Ron Schuler talks to him, the pitching coach. Mets get their 5th hit. Pirates have 6 hits in this ball game. They all came in the first 4 innings. And Ojeda still working on a shutout. The most hits ever allowed while pitching a shutout, 14 hits. Milt Gaston in 1928 for Washington won a 9-0 shutout, giving up 14 hits, no runs. And Larry Cheney back in 1913 for the Chicago Cubs gave up 14 hits against the New York Giants and won 7-0.
Well, Schuler out there to give the bullpen a little time as 2 pitchers are out for Pittsburgh in the bullpen now. And Dykstra is at 3rd with nobody out to lead off the bottom of the 6th. And here's Wally Backman, who is 1 for 2. And in this series, Wally is 5 for 11.
And they are playing their infield here, which does comply with the book, so-called book.
This time they're in all the way around. Backman holds up. It's ball 1. Wally's base hit when he scored a run in the 4th inning on the RBI double by Hernandez. His first of the game, extending his hitting streak to 5 games, as Pat Clements, the left-hander, and Jim Wynn, the right-hander, warm up for the Pirates. And an off-speed delivery drops right in there. It's 1-1. Fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Backman, a big base hit in yesterday's ball game in that 5-run 5th inning. Singled up the middle to drive in a run.
Everybody, I think, got a hit in that inning. The Mets scoring all 5 after 2 were out.
Hit and walks. 3 walks issued.
Dykstra at 3rd. He led off the inning with a triple. The Mets lead it 1-0.
And with no one out, he'll play it safe.
Bounced in the dirt, but no, Dykstra's not going to try it. And it's a good thing because El Gato, Tony Pena, who jumps around like a cat, got out of there in a hurry, and Walk alertly came into cover.
Well, he doesn't break right away, and now he makes up his mind. He starts to go and decides not to, but again, with no one out, it's not worth the try. 2 men out, yes. And he had an idea about it.
He thought about it with his feet as well as his head, but appropriately thought better of it and went back to the bag. So the count 2-2 on Wally Backman.
I'm sure Harrelson was saying, don't go, don't go.
Now a full count. First of 2 here at Shea today on Banner Day, and we'll cover some of those banners for you between games. In fact, Wally's wife Margie is going to be one of the judges. A tapper foul outside the first base line, so the count remains 3-2. Wally's the father of 2, Jennifer and Walter II. Ball 4. Only the second walk issued by Walk.
That might do it. They got 2 left-handed batters coming up.
Yep, here comes Jim Leland. And it appears as if he will go to Pat Clements with Hernandez and Strawberry scheduled up. There's Clements in the foreground. And he's going to make a double switch as he goes to home plate umpire Billy Williams. So we'll sort it out for you as the pitching change is made with the Mets leading 1-0 with nobody out and 2 on in the bottom of the 6th. We'll pause for a message from Delta Airlines. Enters the game to play left field now, and the left fielder Bill Allman moves in to play first base. Mike Diaz out of the game, and in his position in the batting order, the new pitcher Pat Clements.
And he has a record of no wins, 2 losses, and 2 saves, an earned run average of 3.33, his 32nd game of the year. He's walked 16, struck out 14, given up 24 hits in 27 innings. Pat Clements in there. He came to the Pirates from the Angels.
Clements now tied for second in the league in appearances with Tim Burke of Montreal. Craig Lefferts of San Diego leads. He has appeared in 33 games. So here's Keith Hernandez to face the left-hander. Hernandez has walked and doubled to drive in a run in the 4th inning. Pena getting things squared away with the new first baseman Bill Allman.
And they have moved their infield back at short and second to double play depth. They're willing to give up a run to get the double play. And Dykstra's job on third is to run on any ground ball to make a play at the plate. Stay out of the double play.
Nobody out. Hernandez takes inside for ball 1.
Walked through 80 pitches, 45 strikes, 35 balls, struck out 4 and walked 2.
And he pitched 5+ innings, allowing 1 run so far on 5 hits. Backman chased back at first base. And that was Bob Walk's longest outing of the season in his first start. One ball to count to Hernandez. And it's high, ball 2. .301 career against the Pirates. In this series, Keith's had 3 hits and 8 official at-bats. A number back to the mound. Dykstra looked back at third by the pitcher Clements, who throws on to Allman at first base, and there's 1 away. And on the play, Backman advances to second. So the Mets now with runners at second and third and 1 out.
Well, this ball hit right back at the pitcher, so Dykstra has to hold because they can't get the double play. Dykstra, seeing the ball hit, starts in and then holds because there's no chance for the double play. And he stays in scoring position at third as Backman goes down to second in scoring position.
And the straw man will be the hitter. Darrell is 1 for 2. He doubled back in the first. He lined out to first base in the 4th inning. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Strawberry in this series, 4 hits and 10 at-bats, batting .400 in the series, .250 career against the Pirates. But this season, Darrell is hitting at the start of the game .393 against Pirate pitching. Going inside, 1-1.
Darrell drove in the winning run in the 9th inning off Clements in the first game of this series. Mets winning 6-5. He hit a slider to right field to score Mookie Wilson, who was on second.
And that was his major league leading 9th game-winning RBI of the year. 2 balls, 1 strike. Gary Carter on deck. Runners at second and third with 1 out.
I doubt that Carter would hit against Clements.
That's low as Strawberry holds up. Pena wants the appeal play, and third base coach, umpire Steve Ripley says Strawberry did not swing, so it's 3-1.
Well, we'll look at it again. And it is low. Darrell did not swing. So you got to believe Ripley.
Believe it or not. Ball 4. So they pitch Strawberry very carefully, even though a left-handed pitcher is on the mound, and Strawberry walks to load the bases with 1 out.
They have a right-hander in the bullpen. And he's going to be called in.
Yep, here comes Leland. So Clements will face 2 batters. He picks up 1 out and walks the other one. So it's still 1-0 New York. 1 out and the bases loaded here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And we'll be back after this word from Katz. A new pitcher, and he comes into the game to face Gary Carter with the bases loaded.
Wynn making his 25th appearance. And he has a record of 1 win, 1 loss, and 3 saves, an earned run average of 3.62. He has walked 11, struck out 30, given up 32 hits and 32 in the 3rd innings. And Wynn will be working to Carter with the bases loaded. Carter with 9 Grand Slam home runs. Second to George Foster in the National League among active players. George Foster with 13 Grand Slam home runs. So Carter in Grand Slam territory here as Wynn takes his warm-up pitches.
The inning started with a triple by Len Dykstra off starter Bob Walk, and then walked Backman to put runners at 1st and 3rd. Hernandez tapped back to Pat Clements, who was brought in to pitch to the 2 left-handers. On the play, Backman moved down to 2nd base, and then Clements walked Strawberry to load the bases. So Wynn, the 3rd pitcher, now in relief of Clements, who went only 1/3 of an inning, walking 1. The Mets getting the only run of the game so far in the bottom of the 4th inning when Keith Hernandez doubled to drive in Wally Backman from 1st base. And Jim Leland has tried to do about everything he can do, juggling his lineup, making pitching changes, and has so far only been able to beat the Mets 1 time in 10 games this year.
In this series, in the first game, he used 4 pitchers. In the second game, 4 pitchers, and now he's used 3 in this game. There you are.
Who is that guy?
Jackie Gleason.
He usually looks a little happier than that.
Bob Prince, who died last year, the broadcaster for the Pittsburgh Pirates, used to use the expression "how sweet it is" before Jackie Gleason ever came up with it.
Plagiarism abounds everywhere. That picture looked a lot like our executive producer Rick Miner if he ever shaved his beard off. Carter has lined out and reached on a fielder's choice, and he takes low for ball 1. Bases loaded and 1 out.
That's his reaction to our broadcast.
Dykstra at 3rd, Backman at 2nd, Strawberry at 1st. Great speed all the way around for New York. And it caught the corner. 1-1.
Well, Carter, with this reaction, thinking the ball inside, it wasn't that far inside, called a strike.
That's high, even though Pena did a good job trying to bring it down for home plate umpire Billy Williams. So 2-1. Jim Wynn has allowed 6 home runs in 32 innings of work. Carter holds up on a low pitch. It's 3-1.
Jim Leland, the manager of the Pittsburgh Pirates, in his first year replacing Chuck Tanner. And now Carter in an outstanding hitting situation. 3 balls, 1 strike.
1 out, bases loaded. And Gary walks to drive in a run.
First baseman Bill Allman really hot. They did not appeal the check swing, and Allman saying to Pena, appeal it. They appealed it, And the first base umpire, Gary Darling, gave the safe sign that he did not swing. So the Mets take the lead 2-0 on the RBI by Carter, his 41st of the year. The bases are still loaded, and the batter will be Danny Heap.
And that run is charged to starter Bob Walk. And here's the play again.
Carter starts to swing and stops the bat. Did he stop in time? First base umpire Gary Darling said he did. The Pirates disagree.
And I think the Mets got a break there. I think Carter might have gone too far. But the umpire didn't see it that way. So now left-handed batter Danny Heap to face the right-hander Jim Wynn. Bases still loaded, still one out, and it's ball one. Backman now at third, Strawberry down at second, and Carter at first. Two balls, no strikes, and Ron Schuler, the Pirate pitching coach, is coming out again.
Well, the Pirates have averaged something close to 3 hours per ball game this year, and this is one of the reasons. A lot of pitchers, a lot of trips to the mound. Strawberry seems to still be hurting from that foul on his foot. Bud Harrelson.
Excuse me, Ralph. Yeah, he's limping noticeably, and Buddy Harrelson went out to talk to him, and now Buddy's coming to the dugout.
They might go for a pinch runner. Davey Johnson, the manager of the Mets. He doesn't want to lose Strawberry. This game isn't over. Mets leading just 2-0.
And even though the bases are loaded with one out, a double play would get Pittsburgh out of the inning without any further damage. And it looks like Kevin Mitchell is loosening up, and he may go in to run for Strawberry. And you can see that Strawberry is limping quite a bit. So Darrell will come out of the game. Mitchell will replace him at second base and in right field as well, and also bat fourth in the batting order. So the count, 2 balls and no strikes to Danny Heap. Bases loaded. Still only one out.
And again, a good hitting position here, 2-0.
Ball 3. Well, you can see why they've had so many trips to the mound, Ralph.
3 complete games this season.
And a strike called makes it 3-1. Heap with 3 home runs, 17 RBIs on the year. Fouled away, and the count is full. Danny Heap asking home plate umpire Billy Williams if that ball would have been a strike had he not swung at it.
It was a better pitch to hit than the one before.
Wynn was all ready to go, and then he decided to step off the mound and went to the rosin bag.
He's acting like he doesn't want to make this pitch.
Tim Leland doesn't look too sure either. Ball 4. He walks in another run. The Mets have only had 1 hit in this inning, but they have scored 2 runs after the leadoff triple by Len Dykstra on 4 walks.
And that closes the book on Bob Walk. Those last 2 runs charged to his record, so all 3 of the runs in this game go against his record. And now the batter will be Ray Knight.
Ray has struck out and fly deep to center. He had his 11-game hitting streak snapped yesterday, so he's hit in 11 of the last 12. Bases still loaded and still only 1 out. Strike 1. Ray entered the game hitting .333. Tony Gwynn and Hubie Brooks tied for the league lead at .339, and Knight in 3rd place. Then a grounded to 3rd. Morrison coming home, and they get the force play on Mitchell at the plate for the 2nd out of the inning.
With the bases loaded, all they have to do is get the ball to the catcher with his foot on home plate. That's exactly what they do. Bases remain loaded as Morrison gets the assist. Pena gets the out. Now Rafael Santana with a chance.
Santana has flied to center and grounded to short. Bases loaded with 2 out. 3-0 New York as 2 runs have scored here in the 6th inning. Ball 1.
Davy Johnson. Fine article on Davy Johnson in the Times this morning.
Breaking ball in there. 1 ball, 1 strike. And a deserving article. Davy has done an outstanding job. Carter at 3rd, Heap at 2nd, Knight at 1st. And a ground ball up the middle. Khalifa flips it to Belliard, and the inning is over. The Mets pick up 2 runs on just 1 base hit and 4 walks. Jim Wynn and Billy Williams, the home plate umpire, are having a conversation as Wynn walked 2 and walked in 2 runs. Billy seems to be pleading his case sufficiently to satisfy Jim Wynn. So at the end of 7, it's 3-0 New York in the first of a doubleheader. Tim McCarver will be in to join me after this word from the good old guys. Game for Darryl Strawberry in right field. Strawberry leaving with soreness in his foot. And here's the National League scoreboard for you. In the bottom of the 3rd, St. Louis leading Chicago 1-0. Bottom of the 5th, Montreal leading Philadelphia 1-0. Bottom of the 3rd, Cincinnati all over Atlanta 7-0. And later on, San Francisco at Houston and Los Angeles at San Diego. And with the Mets leading at 3-0 as we go to the top of the 7th inning, here's Tim McCarver.
All right, thank you very much. Out the first 6 innings today, and my prior concern was more with my carnation than with the ball game. I mean, you know, Billy Webb gave me a carnation before the game.
Nice
we're wearing on our lapel. Tony Pena, La Pena, I was going to say, but Tony Pena leading off here in the 7th. 3-0 Mets lead, and the first pitch ripped. Nice play, Santana. Nice play, Hernandez. 1 out.
Well, Rafael Santana hitting in the 150s now, but still doing the job at short. And Hernandez with a little help at the other end to pick up the short hop. This ball was ripped, and Santana spears it back in the hole and is able to throw out Pena because of the velocity at which the ball came to him.
And Bill Almond will be the batter. Nice play, Hernandez. Good play, Santana. Ojeda has given up 6 hits, but the Pirates have not had a hit since the 4th. And a fake bunt by Almond. So it's 0-1 to Bill Almond. Changeup is inside. Speaking of carnations, the Mets have been playing carnation ball through their first 57. They've been dancing around the bases in rather regal fashion, I would say. Changeup lifted to right. Kevin Mitchell makes the catch. 2 out.
Is that carnation or coronation?
Coronation. What did I say? Carnation? I didn't mean to get it confused with that cow.
Well, it was Bill. Nice of Bill to give us a flower for our lapel on Father's Day.
Yes.
We'll have to come up with a present for him. Boy, do I have something in mind.
I have several things in mind for Bill Webb. Sammy Khalifa 1 for 2. He's single back in the second. Lines it foul. You know, that inning took about 25 to 30 minutes, and I'm surprised that Ojeda came out throwing strikes. But he is that type of pitcher where a long layoff will not bother. He rarely walks people. He has only walked 1 today. That unusually, the pitcher, Bob, walked.
Well, Timmy, we got the report on Darryl Strawberry. He does have a bruised foot. He was not scheduled to play in the second game. And if he does not play the second game, it won't be because of the injury, because it's not serious.
Well, a fly ball to Len Dykstra in an easy inning for Bob Ojeda. Bobby has retired 8 in a row, and after 7½, it's 3-0 New York. We go to the middle of the 7th after this word from U.S. Health.
The Mets will be celebrating their 25th anniversary as players from the Mets' 25 years will be here at Shea to play in the equitable Old Timers Day game beginning at 12 noon, with the Mets Atlanta Braves game getting underway at 1:50. This is a new start time, so make note of it. Jerry Grody, Cleon Jones, John Matlack, and Willie Mays are among the many players scheduled to appear. And then on Sunday afternoon, July 13th, it's Rusty Staub Day, as the Mets will be honoring Rusty in a pregame ceremony beginning at 1 o'clock. And the final game of the Mets Atlanta series will get underway at 2:05. Tickets are going fast for both these games, so get your tickets now at Shea's Advanced Ticket Window, any Ticketron outlet, or you can call 718-507-TIXX for more ticket information. So mark July 12th and 13th on your calendar now, as both games will be 2 more memorable chapters in Mets history. These are 2 games that you don't want to miss, the 12th and 13th of July right here at Shea.
So in the bottom of the 7th inning, Jim Wynn, the 3rd pitcher for the Pirates. Bob Walk worked the first 5 innings. Enter Pat Clements, who got Hernandez on a ground out, but then after walking Darryl Strawberry, he was lifted for Jim Wynn, and Wynn came in and walked Carter and Heap. The Mets plated 2 runs on 2 RBI bases loaded walks. And Knight and Santana went down, so it's 3-0. New York leads. The other run came on an RBI double by Keith Hernandez back in the 4th. Ojeda has struck out a couple of times, 0 for 2 on the game, and a fastball outside. Strike 1. Those Expos still over the Phillies 1-0. That game in the bottom of the 5th inning. Charles Hudson going for Philadelphia today.
Charles, don't call me Charlie.
Breaking ball grounded toward first. Good play by Almond, who throws to Wynn for the out. 1 away. And the top of the order, Len Dykstra, the batter. By the way, Andy McGaffigan pitching that game for the Montreal Expos. He has shut out the Phillies once this year and always pitches well against them.
And incidentally, between games, not only will we cover the banner day for you, but Ralph is going to have a special edition of Kiner's Corner.
Right.
And they'll have all the updates for you, as usual.
Dykstra 2 for 3, a triple and a single. He scored a run. His 4th triple back in the 6th. Fastball is high. Driving in this morning, as I always do, I was listening to Jonathan Schwartz. Great show on Sunday morning. Changeup outside, 2-0. And he had a segment in his show where he played some show tunes that were filler tunes from 10 to 11. A tune like Show Me from My Fair Lady. not a well-known tune. There's a strike to Dykstra. But I was thinking about it, and I think that really applies to baseball, particularly the Mets, and particularly guys like Wally Backman and Len Dykstra. They're not star players, but they are oh so vital. Swing and a miss, 2-2 to Len.
And those kind of songs in Broadway shows are often used to change sets and scenery.
Yeah, they're filling. Yeah,
right.
They tie the story together.
That's right. And it's funny you should pick that particular title because both Len Dykstra and Wally Backman have had to show me what they can do in order to make it in the big leagues.
Interesting point. Ground ball pass. Jim Morrison at third base. It'll probably be scored a base hit. Nice going, Steve. They have shown a lot of people that irascible fury of a Len Dykstra and Wally Backman.
Well, with the left-hander Dykstra up, third baseman playing well off the line, and Len just sort of punches this ball like a golf swing. That looked like some of my golf swings, too, the way it sliced out of there.
Backman 1 for 2. He scored 2 runs. Dykstra the other, and the Mets are leading 3-0, and that's the point. They are always, every time you look up, it's first and third with Dykstra and Backman. Both batting over 300. Pitch out, and it's 1-0 to Backman.
Dykstra's stolen 15 of 16 bases. And as you see, he's now hitting .319 in addition to that.
And Dykstra back.
And something else is back. The wave is
indeed.
back.
Much to the dismay of Ralph Kiner.
What I like about it is the way the fans applaud themselves after they finish doing it.
Yeah, they do. Of course, on a day like this, hot and sticky, they might be doing it for a different reason.
That's true. Get out of those seats for a minute. A little air.
One 1-0 to Wally Backman. Mets lead 3-0. 1 out here in the 7th. Fastball is low. 2-0. Keith Hernandez on deck. Might add a new element to the word fan as they're fanning each other today. Huh? Circulate in the air.
There isn't much wind blowing today, that's for sure.
About 85 degrees. Humidity relatively high, no pun intended. It's always kind of got me, that term relative humidity. Sounds like you're talking about a cousin at a party. Huh?
It's a sticky ant I used to
There goes Dykstra. The throw to second. Safe at second base. Stolen base number 16 for Len Dykstra. And there he is again.
And when you steal against that guy right there, you've done a good job, because Pena has gunned out quite a few this year. His ratio has been outstanding, and Dykstra still has only been caught 1 time. Pena's caught 18 of 43 now, a little under 50%. And that's very good for a catcher.
And I think the very fact that only 43 guys have tried to run against Pena is also indicative of that strong arm. It's 3-0 to Backman. There's a strike, 3-1.
Even though the Mets have not been able to throw out a high percentage of base runners, they have certainly stolen a high percentage. That's their 52nd stolen base in 68 attempts.
And 20 of their last 22. Fastball misses. So Wynn walks his 3rd batter. He has only faced 6. Make that 7. since coming into the 6th inning, and he's walked 3 of them and allowed 1 hit. The Mets have runners at first and second, and 1 out, and Keith Hernandez, the batter. Jim Leland and Bill Verdon, his right-hand man, looking on.
The Pirates' record this season at 24-32, and they're in danger of losing their 33rd today, is not because they haven't been able to score enough runs. They have, in fact, outscored their opponents going into this game today. 264 runs to 261. So they've now given up as many as they have scored. It has been their pitching and their bullpen problems that have really hurt them a lot.
Bob Walk pitched very well for 5 innings, and then a triple by Dykstra and a walk to Wally Backman in the 6th. And that was the end of Bob Walk. In his first start of the year, that was a pretty good job. Slider backs up but stays on the corner. 0-1 to Hernandez.
And you had to figure that about the 5th or 6th inning he would start to lose it, because he had not gone that long this year, and as we've just been talking about, it's warm today.
Hernandez 1 for 2. He doubled in a run in the 4th inning and has walked. Keith entered the game batting .318. 3-0. New York on top, bottom of 7. Pops it up. It could be playable. Almond over, Pena over, and it drops in between them. I told you it could be playable. 0-2 to Hernandez.
It was playable, but it wasn't played. You could see this was going to happen early. When 2 players start looking at each other and not at the ball, you've got a problem. Now watch Allman. He's checking out Pena more than he's checking out the ball, and the ball's actually closer to him. He has a much easier play than Pena does. Pena feels he's going to take it. Billy with the glasses down, and he just looked off that ball so many times, I think he lost it. He's lucky it didn't hit him on the head.
Well, not only is the angle better for a first baseman coming in, but you said a very pertinent point. The glass is down. A catcher does not have glasses. Right. There is a glare when you look up, a high sky, relatively high sky today, but nonetheless the ball should have been caught.
And I think Ballman should have just taken charge and made the play.
An error is given, and they have not told us who the error is on. I would think it would be on Bill Almond. 0-2 to Hernandez. Ball 1, 1-2.
That would be the appropriate scoring call. It was his ball to handle, and it also landed closer to him than it did to Pena. Sometimes a scorer will take that into consideration.
So close only counts in horseshoes and going after foul pop-ups now?
No. Throw hand grenades in there. Get it? Throw hand grenades.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Please don't.
And the slider swing and a miss, and Hernandez is down. First strikeout for Jim Wynn, and now he is throwing the helmet and the bat around home place. And sure enough, that was an error on Bill Almond, even though neither Pena or Almond laid a glove on the ball. So the batter, Kevin Mitchell. Kevin in there for Darryl Strawberry, who left the game after being hit by a foul ball. He was batting when that happened. He got to second and motioned to Bud Harrelson, who motioned to Davy Johnson, and they took him out of the game. And here's Mitchell. Kevin batting .330 on the year. Slider tried to hold up. He went too far, but the pitch was a strike anyway. It's 0-1 to Mitchell. Kevin, the first player to start at 5 different positions this year in the major leagues, and the first to do it since Alan Bannister did it back in 1984 for the Texas Rangers. Ball 1.
Bill Allman of the Pirates has played 5 different positions, but he has not started. at 5 positions.
Actually, Kevin's played at 6 positions.
That's right. And they both might play at 7 before the season's over.
Well hit left field. It's going to be extra bases, and it hits the top of the wall. Dykstra scores. Here comes Backman. Strong throw home. He's going to be out. So Wally Backman is thrown out by Sammy Khalifa, but credit Kevin Mitchell with an RBI. And the Mets lead it 4-0. Dykstra scoring and Backman thrown out on the play. 1 run on 2 hits and 1 left. So after 7, it's the Mets 4 and the Pirates nothing, and we'll be back after this word from Bud Light. Masterpiece by Bob, trying to shut the Pirates out for the 2nd time in a row. 10 days ago, Bob shut out the Pirates 7-0 at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh. He is 2-0 against the Bucks this year, and the other game he won 7-1. He leads this one 4-0, top of the 8th inning. So in 25 innings, Bob Ojeda has given up 1 earned run to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
He already has 2 complete games and 1 shutout this year.
R.J. Reynolds, the batter. R.J. entered the game in the 6th inning on the double switch when he went to left when Pat Clemens came in the game. Mets with 7 hits, the Bucks with 6. Fastball inside. .56 strikes and only 21 balls. He's only walked 1. 2 strikeouts. Change up is low, 2-0.
Ojeda now on the year has struck out 50 batters while walking 24. So that's a little bit better than a 2-to-1 ratio, which is what you would like to see in a starting pitcher.
Fastball is low. So it's 3-0 to R.J. Reynolds. Bob walked 5 in his last outing against Philadelphia. That's his high for the year. There's a strike, 3-1. Reynolds .269 as a right-handed hitter, batting over .340 left-handed. Fastball for a strike. Interesting way how he cradles that bat, isn't it? Right up near the chin. It's similar to the way I used to hold it.
I was just going to say, does that remind you of anybody?
Yeah.
Right next to that ear.
Swing and a miss. He got Reynolds. 3rd strikeout for Ojeda. 1 away here in the 8th.
And Bobby coming right after him here with a fastball. He's what I guess you would have to call sneaky fast. He cannot really blow people away, but he does lull you a little bit and then pop one in there once in a while.
Barry Bonds 1 for 3 on the afternoon. The curve ball is low.
What did you find that did for you, Tim, holding your hands?
It relaxed my arms.
Did it? Getting it close to your head like that?
And it doesn't matter where you start from. That's why there is such a myriad of styles as far as stances are concerned. The only key in good hitting is, Ralph talks about it a lot, weight shift, waiting back, quick hands, the weight shift from the back part to the front part, very important. And this one lifted to left field. Danny Heap there, and he makes the catch. So 2 outs here in the 8th, and 9 in a row retired by Ojeda. Make that 10 in a row.
Guess it's really how you bring that bat head through the hitting area that
That's right.
determines what you do with the ball.
And all good hitters are similar. They're not the same, but they're similar. When that ball is about 10 feet away, they have already made the necessary movements to get their hands in the proper position to attack the ball or take it or whatever may be the situation. Rafael Belliard is 1 for 3. He has a 6-game hitting streak.
The Mets also lead in batting average. They're at the top in both categories.
1-1 to Belliard.
Well, all you have to do to think about how difficult it is to hit a baseball with any consistency and success is try to find another sport at which you can fail 7 out of 10 times and still make the Hall of Fame. If anything demonstrates how tough it is, that does.
A good bunt. Ray Knight will have to hurry, but can't get him. Ray Knight was playing Belliard shallow, but still couldn't get him as Belliard dropped a nice bunt down the third baseline. Hit number 7 for Pittsburgh.
It's really a perfect bunt as he hits it right down into the ground and right near the line. And Knight not only had to come in, but he had to come over toward the line. As you can see, he's playing off the line. Ray did all that he could do. Belliard runs extremely well and just flat beat it out. And a good play by Raphael with 2 out to get on base.
And a much tougher play for a left-handed throwing third baseman. Here's Mike Brown. Mike 1 for 3 on the afternoon. Ground ball to short. Over to Backman for the force.
Okay.
No runs, 1 hit, 1 left here in the 8th. After 7.5, it's 4-0 New York. Now here's a word from Exxon.
28th, it's the 8th annual New Jersey All-Star Football Classic, live from Rutgers University right here on Channel 9, featuring the Garden State's young hopefuls and Channel 9's Carl Churkin calling the play.
All right, Steve, bottom of the 8th inning, and we were laughing about that comment about a left-handed third baseman between innings, but you know, a lot of serious things come out of goofy sayings, and that was certainly goofy. But the point is, you know, the third base position and the shortstop position made for right-handed throwers. And that's why, conversely, the first base position is made for a left-handed thrower, because all the throws are to his right. All the throws from a right-handed thrower are to their left. Jesse Orozco is up and throwing, which would lead one to believe, well, what about a second baseman? He's still throwing to his left.
That's right.
Even though on the shuffle off play on the double play, that's why you see second baseman work on that awkward backhand toss, because it is very awkward.
And you add to that the pivot at second base for the second baseman on the double play, and there's no way with any ability a left-hander could play that position.
Gary Carter leading off the bottom of the 8th, 1-0 to Gary. Jim Wynn, the third Pirate pitcher of the afternoon. It's 4-0, New York leading. Ground ball to short, and the right-handed throwing Khalifa throws out Carter, 1 away.
Now, that's not to say that a couple of left-handers haven't played short on occasion, but it doesn't work out. Are you ready? Today's incredibly stupid stat of the game, of the first game for that matter. Through 7 innings, today's pitchers have thrown over to first base only 10 times. Very good.
That's not as stupid as it might sound.
No, it's
told
it's not incredibly stupid. It's semi-stupid.
It's yeah. It's kind of dumb. It's a kind of dumb stat. Danny Heap is 0 for 2. He walked with the bases loaded his last time up. Credit for an RBI, his 18th of the year. Told you serious things came out of goofy things sometimes.
It's not only semi-stupid, it's semi-interesting, because a lot of times you'll see one pitcher throw over there 10 times in 1 inning.
He held up in time, I believe. Yes, says third base umpire Steve Ripley. So it's 1-1 to Danny. Make that 2-1 to Danny Heap. There weren't a lot of base runners the first 5 innings either. Mets scored the first run back in the 4th inning on an RBI double by Hernandez. 2 bases loaded walks by this fella, Jim Wynn. Plated another 2. And then Lynn Dykstra scored on Kevin Mitchell's RBI double in the 7th. So it's 4-0 Mets, and this one fouled away, still 2-2.
The Mets have only had base runners on first base in a situation where the pitcher would throw over there 3 times in the ball game. What is a balloon doing in the bullpen?
Looks like a Kukla, Fran, and Ollie set.
It does, doesn't it? You wait for the puppets to come up. Fran Elson will walk in from the side, and Kukla and Ollie will come up from the bottom.
3-2 to Danny Heap.
Bill Webb says there's a midget out there watching the game. trying to.
Well, Danny Heap has lost. Second straight walk. And the fourth issued by Jim Wynn and the batter Ray Knight.
Well, already it's time for son of the incredibly stupid stat of today's first game. Through 7 innings, today's first basemen have returned throws to the pitchers 9 times. Where's the other ball?
Well, there was one balk.
Where'd the 10th throw over go? Stuck it in his back pocket, I guess.
No one has been caught stealing throwing the first. So that might have been an incorrect stupid stat. Incorrect, incredibly stupid stat. Right?
It's inconclusive, to say the least.
And there goes Heap, and the fastball's inside, and Heap's going to be thrown out. It appeared that the hit and run was on, but Ray Knight was tied up to the point where he couldn't swing the bat.
This ball really in there. See, Ray tried to get a little bit of wood on the ball. The ball was so far inside, he would have probably hit it with his arms had he swung. And at the last second, he tried to drop the bat down there in an effort to foul it off and protect Heap, but he couldn't do it.
Buddy Harrelson. Mets trying to win their 10th game in 11 meetings against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Their best season series ever was when they were 13-5 back in 1973. And it was interesting because they had to beat the Pirates that many times to win the division that year. They only won 82 games in 73. Swing and a miss, 1-2 to Ray Knight. Or it's 1-1 to Ray Knight. Cecilio Guante casting his charm toward the stands. Ground ball and a high chopper for Sam Khalifa. So Knight goes down, and after 8 innings, it's 4-0 New York. We go to the 9th. 3 more outs left for the Pirates after this word from Eastern Airlines. The Mets are leading the Pittsburgh Pirates 4-0. Bob Ojeda has faced the Pirates for 26 innings this year. He has a shutout, a complete game, and he's given up 1 earned run in 26 innings against the Pirates. Jim Morrison leads it off. Jim, an ex-Philly, an ex-Chicago White Sox player, hit 300 for the Sox back in 1982. Each team with 7 hits. Pirates have committed 1 error. Fastball is low. Morrison 1 for 3. He leads the Pirates along with Sid Bream with 9 home runs. And a bunt attempt, and it's going to be foul. Good idea, 4 runs down.
Pirates have to at least load the bases as Lee Mazzilli's out on deck in order to have a chance to get the tying run to the plate. The way Ojeda's been pitching, especially since the 4th inning, it might be tough duty because he has not appeared to lose anything, Tim. He still looks pretty strong.
He's only given up 1 hit since that 4th inning, and the changeup is down 2-1. Matter of fact, only 1 base runner. A bunt base hit by Rafael Belliard in the 8th. Changeup hit fair, and it's a fair ball. That ball appeared to be going foul, but it just held its course. Looked like a hit right on the line. So a double for Jim Morrison.
For Morrison, his 6th 2-base hit of the year, and let's watch and see. I thought 2 had landed right on the line. Of course, on the line is fair, just inside the line, inside edge of the line.
Number 16, Lee.
Catches any part of that grass in there.
Or any part of the line.
Or any part of the line. Yeah. That's a fair ball. Yeah, what I meant was any part of the grass that's lined.
That's why it's a fair line, not a foul line.
But they call it the foul pole instead of the fair pole. Well, anyway.
Lee Mazzilli, the pinch hitter, his on-base average as a pinch hitter is .360. He's walked 5 times pinch hitting. Got a good eye, batting .215 overall.
And Maz was on with us at the start of the game as you look at Pena on deck to wish his father, who's here today, a happy Father's Day.
And it's 1-1 to Maz, and I would like to echo that fine sentiment. My dad watching today from Memphis, Tennessee. I spoke to him earlier. Ed McCarver. And those folks lining up to present their banners here between games. We will carry the entire Banner Day festivities for you happily here on WOR.
Truth of the matter is, no, it's a lot of fun.
It is.
But we don't have any choice because we're going to cover the second game.
That's
and
correct.
It can't start till Banner Day's over.
And that special edition of Kiner's Corner also right after game 1. A change-up, swing and a miss. 2-2 to Mazzilli.
Ojeda still claims he does not turn the ball over, but it sure does break away from right-handed hitters and looks a little like a mini screwball.
A 2-1 changeup, 4 runs ahead in the 9th inning, behind in the count, and another one. He got him.
Well, Ojeda means business here. He wants that shutout with that runner at second base in scoring position, and he got tough with Mazzilli and got him out of there.
Here's Tony Pena. Pena will bunt also. So Ray Knight alive at third. Lined foul. The only thing predictable about Ojeda is that he's unpredictable. I mean, a 2-1 changeup with a 4-run lead. If I'm a hitter, he gets me too. I'll tell you that. And that's the beauty of being able to throw the breaking ball behind in the count.
Well, that's the truth.
This young man, a pure pitcher in the purest sense of the word. A little looper over first. It could be trouble. Fair ball. Morrison scores. Pena to second. And Pena's going to go to third as Mitchell threw the ball to Backman. Backman allowed it to trickle through, so we'll see who the error is going to be on.
I don't know if the ball slipped out of Mitchell's hand or not. He was blocked from our view by the stands here. So let's take a look at it. Ojeda has given up a lot of hits like this today. This is the 7th Pirate hit, or rather the 9th Pirate hit. And most of them have been bloopers like that. And Mitch goes to throw the ball and it just slipped out of his hand. He was trying to throw it in to Santana at second to keep Pena from going to third. And here it is. Whoops. Whoops. Just right down into the ground, and it harmlessly trickles into the infield, and before Santana can retrieve it, Pena goes over to third, so the error is on Mitchell. And the shutout is gone.
And here's Bill Almond. So Pena at third base. It's 4-1 now. In order for Mitchell to hit the cutoff man with that throw, the cutoff man would have had to have been 1.5 feet tall and standing 9 feet from him. That ball went straight. It looked like he was throwing it down a mine shaft. 0-2 to Almond.
He was emulating what Pete Rose does at first base at the end of an inning.
Spiking the ball. 1 out. We're in the 9th. 4-1. Ojeda and the Mets on top. Change-up got him. Strikeout number 5 for Bob Ojeda. There are 2 out.
Allman waited on this pitch, but again, it's that little breakaway. Allman's waiting, then he swings. He still can't get it because it breaks down and away from him. He wasn't that far out in front of the ball. It's just that movement, and he couldn't catch up with it.
And when the right-handers seem to wait and look for that pitch, that's when Ojeda, almost a 6th sense, to bust that ball in on him. And that's why you have a lot of flares the other way. Forward, to be exact.
Guys are looking outside and they get jammed very easily.
Fastball outside, 2-0. The on-deck batter, R.J. Reynolds. So Ojeda trying to challenge Khalifa to keep him off the base, because Reynolds, should he get up, will represent the tying run. Strike one, 2-1. Strike two on the corner, 2-2.
Once again, Ojeda has Khalifa set up in similar fashion.
Change up, he just got a piece of it. There are 2 out in the 9th inning. Tony Pena at third base. The Mets have a 3-run lead. This was that last 2-2 pitch.
If Khalifa's bat's a half an inch shorter, he's out of there. He just hit it off the end.
Curveball lifted to right field. Kevin Mitchell squeezes it, and the Mets have just won their 42nd ball game of the year against 16 losses. Bobby Ojeda, the winner. His record now 8-2. Bob walked the loser. His record now 2-3. Ojeda did miss his chance for his 2nd consecutive shutout against the Pirates, as they did play to run in the 9th inning. The line score on the game, 4-7-1 for New York, 1-9-1 for Pittsburgh. Steve and I will be back with a wrap-up. Kiner's Corner to follow right after this word from MasterCard.